working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Welcome to ASEAN and Focus. We're coming to you live from Manila and Vietnam. Hello, Charlene. Thank you for joining me today.
Hello, Alma. I'm Charlene Navaja, bringing you the news in the dynamic ASEAN region.
On today's headlines,
the 1982 UNCLOS.
President Duterte stressed the importance of the Philippines' historic arbitral victory against China's sweeping maritime claims in the South China Sea during the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly.
Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Domagoso will join the presidential race in the upcoming 2022 national elections.
And the Asian Development Bank warned of lasting scars from the coronavirus pandemic as it cut its 2021 growth forecast for developing Asia on slow vaccination rates, surging infections, and crippling lockdowns.
And delivering vaccines to Myanmar's junta, but also to rebel groups that are general sworn enemies, China is playing both sides to fight the coronavirus and strengthen its hand in the messy politics of its southern neighbor.
First, here in the country, President Duterte on Wednesday stressed the importance of the Philippines' historic arbitral victory against China's sweeping maritime claims in the South China Sea. Now, during the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly, or UNGA, President Duterte said the Permanent Court of Arbitration's 2016 ruling on the South China Sea disputes, as well as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, provides a clear path towards a just, fair, and win-win solution for all.
The 1982 UNCLOS and the 2016 Arbitral Award of the South China Sea provide a clear path towards a just, fair, and win-win solution for all. The award must be seen for what it is, a benefit across the board to all who subscribe to the majesty of the law. No amount of willful disregard by any country, however big and powerful, can diminish the arbitral award's importance.
On July 12, 2016, the PCA in The Hague, Netherlands, ruled in favor of the Philippines after it invalidated China's supposedly historic rights over nearly the entire South China Sea. China has repeatedly ignored the 2016 PCA ruling. The Philippines, on the other hand, has sought to resolve the sea disputes through peaceful and diplomatic negotiations as it intends to keep its mended ties with Beijing. President Duterte, in his latest speech, reiterated his stance to avoid provocative acts that could only trigger hostilities among the sea claimants. He said, "We must resolve disputes peacefully as we manifested in the Manila Declaration on the peaceful settlement of international disputes." The president was referring to the Manila Declaration on the peaceful settlement of international disputes approved by the UNGA in 1982, which provides for the obligation of all states to settle their international disputes by peaceful means. Apart from the Philippines and China, the other South China Sea claimants are Brunei, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Vietnam.
And also in the Philippines, where President Duterte also spoke about universal access to COVID-19 vaccines. He criticized the plan of rich countries to administer COVID-19 booster shots to its citizens despite the lack of supply in developing nations. He urged rich countries to fully support UN's COVAX facility in order to help the struggling nations. Let's take a look.
The picture is bleak. It is a man-made drought of vaccines ravaging the poor countries. Rich countries hoard life-saving vaccines while poor nations wait for trickles. They now talk of booster shots where developing countries consider half doses just to get by. This is shocking beyond belief and must be condemned for what it is, a selfish act that can either be justified rationally or morally. The plain fact is, this pandemic will not end unless the virus is defeated everywhere. Vaccines are key to achieving this.
In other news, Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Domagoso will join the presidential race in the upcoming 2022 national elections, according to the Manila Public Information or MPO Chief Julius Leonen, and he confirmed this on Tuesday. Leonen also confirmed through a text message that the city mayor's running mate will be Dr. Willie Ong. The formal announcement of their presidential and vice presidential bids is set on Wednesday morning. Now, Domagoso recently joined the Acción Democrático Party and eventually became its president. Before his announcement today, he became Manila mayor in 2019 after defeating former President Joseph Estrada in the polls. Ong is an internist and cardiologist with around 16 million followers on Facebook, where he regularly provides free medical advice. He joined the senatorial race in 2019 and placed 18th with over 7 million votes. Aside from the Domagoso-Ong tandem, Senator Pantilo Lacson and Senate President Vicente Soto III have also announced their presidential and vice presidential bids. Senator Manny Pacquiao also accepted the nomination of his faction at the Partido Democrático Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan, or PDP Laban, to run for president. President Rodrigo Duterte, who belongs to the other wing of the PDP Laban, also accepted his nomination last month to run for the country's second highest position.
In Thailand now, where they approve further COVID-19 relief measures and extended a scheme to boost local travel to try to spur domestic activity. Here's Gladys Pinuela live in Thailand. Gladys.
Hello. A budget of around 27 billion baht or 806,451,660 US dollars is approved by the cabinet for giving aid and lengthened domestic travel programs to the end of February. Government spokesman Panakon Wangbunchangkana stated in a news conference that a subsidy on utilities will be extended to welfare card holders as the government relief measures, as well as a pledge to support the existing scheme to encourage domestic travelers as the COVID-19 situation is slowing down. Included in the benefits are subsidy up to 3,000 baht and a 600 baht voucher per hotel room per night, as well as 3,000 baht on flights. On the other hand, Deputy Government Spokeswoman Ratchada Dandirik said that the cabinet also approved the 468 billion baht, or equivalent to 13,900,345,440 US dollars, as investment budget for state enterprises and subsidiaries in 2022 that will start October 1st. She added that the said investment will help boost the economy by 0.31%, as well as generate around more or less 163,000 jobs. Deputy Government Spokeswoman Traisuli Taisuranakul on her end said that another investment project around 1.9 billion baht or 56,835,175 US dollars has been approved by the government to support rural economy. Back to you.
Thank you so much for your news, Gladys. Take care.
You take care as well. And this is Gladys Pinuela from Bangkok. We live in interesting times.
And let's get an update on the coronavirus situation in Bangkok. Will they reopen soon? Let's find out. Crystal Mapa joins us live. Crystal.
Hello, Charlene. Yes, Bangkok Governor Aswin Kwanmuang denied that he had agreed to the reopening date of Bangkok to foreign arrivals on October 15th, which was announced last week by Tourism and Sports Minister Pipat Ratchakitprakarn, and insisted that the BMA will set the date itself. The governor of Bangkok revealed on Monday of 3 key prerequisites for the city's safe reopening to foreign tourists. First, at least 70% of the city's population must be fully vaccinated with 2 doses by October 22nd and wait for another week to 2 weeks for the immunity levels to increase as suggested by medics. Second, the number of new COVID-19 cases must decrease to 2,700 to 2,800 new cases found each day. And lastly, Charlene, the number of new cases in hospitals must decrease. Some medical experts have also advised delaying reopening plans until more people are vaccinated and the public health system is better prepared. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA, will discuss with the Public Health and Tourism and Sports Ministries whether Bangkok meets these requirements, which will be proposed to the Center for COVID-19 Situation Administration for further consideration. CCSA Assistant Spokesperson Dr. Apisamay Srirangsan announced that the date has to be set for Bangkok's reopening. Back to you, Charlene.
Thank you so much for your update, Crystal. Stay safe out there.
Likewise, Charlene, reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand, I am Crystal Mapa, and we'll live in interesting times.
Back here in the country, an infectious disease expert says despite the surge in COVID infections driven by the highly infectious Delta variant, the nationwide death toll did not double at all. Let's listen in.
Bottom line is, if we're talking about the number of cases, ito na yung pinaka-madaming cases in because of the inherent transmissibility of Delta. Pero kung titingnan natin yung number of deaths versus the number of cases, alam natin na more than double na yung number of cases na nakita natin sa Delta for this latest August. Pero dumoble rin ba yung deaths? Actually, hindi. It is just slightly above yung deaths per day na nakita natin noong April. And so alam natin more than double yung cases, pero almost kapantay yung number of deaths compared to April, which means that we are starting to see na even though expected natin na mas deadly nga yung Delta, hindi yun nangyari. And the only thing that's contributing to that, most likely, sisimula na siguro yung ating decoupling, is yung pagbabakuna natin ng maraming tao. Na instead of naging mas deadly ang Delta, paradoxically, naging less deadly siya if you compare it to the number of cases we have versus the number of actual deaths that we are seeing.
And the news continues here on Eagle News. Charlene and I will be back right after this break.
Mapupuno ng saya, impormasyon at inspirasyon ang hapon mo sa Afternoon Power. Handog sa inyo ng Net25. Sasabay sa inyong tanghalian ang inyong Happy Time Barkada at 12 noon. Alamin ang mga pangyayari sa ASEAN nations, ASEAN in Focus at 2 p.m. Ang inyong paboritong awit komentaryo kasama si Leo Obligar sa Piskante ng Bayan. At mga balita sa iba't ibang panig ng bansa, hatid sa atin sa Aguila Probinsya. Siksik ang hapon mo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, ang inyong Afternoon Power sa Net25.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups Micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get up close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights. Sharpen your instincts for smart decision-making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovation, social entrepreneurship, and other leading-edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business, from vision to action.
Welcome back. The government of the island nation of Maldives has approved its own online messaging service now available for public use. And we are joined live from the island nation of Maldives. Here's Steph Dewan. Hello, Steph. Please tell us more about this public messaging system.
Hi, Alma. Yes, the government has announced that its online messaging service, gov.mb message, that allows the public to send documents digitally to government bodies is now available for public use. An announcement publicized by the President's office read the detailed procedures government institution must follow when responding to requests made through the new platform. In this regard, institutions are mandated to reply to messages sent online within a specified amount of time. Reply must be given in the Bahasa language. According to President Ibrahim Mohamed Soli, the platform will allow members of the public to submit documents to government institutions at any time of the day. Gov.mb message was designed with the inclusion of a dashboard that allows people to check the number of documents submitted to government institutions in the real time. The Gov.mb message service portal will be used to file complaints, documents, and letters at government agencies through the internet. This portal will unify all public to government communication under one system digitally instead of communicating with multiple agencies. Government E-Letter Management System, or GEMS, was officially launched on 25th April 2010 as a form of digital communication for government offices. This application is introduced to all government agencies to enable government offices to exchange communications electronically to make government administration more efficient, reduce costs, and improve the delivery of services. The system is currently used in 510 agencies across the Maldives. The Gov.mb message service is an addition that enables the public to communicate with the government agencies without having to physically submit documents using digital forms instead. And that's new normal from Maldives. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much for that report on your part of your new normal procedures there in the island nation of Maldives. Thank you very much, and looking forward for more updates from where you are staying right now. Thank you very much, Steph.
Thank you so much, Alma. Be safe. Reporting live from Maldives, this is Stephanie Juan. We live in interesting times.
Cuba agreed Monday to provide Vietnam with 10 million doses of its homegrown coronavirus vaccine, Abdala, for which the Asian nation has given emergency approval. A deal was signed between the two countries during an official visit by President Nguyen Xuan Phuc to the communist island, the government said. Let's take a look.
Muchos acuerdos de cooperación han sido firmados en esta ocasión, se puede decir que es una visita muy exitosa.
Từ chính trị, đối ngoại cho đến kinh tế xã hội và đặc biệt là y tế.
En todos los ámbitos, de político, diplomático, económico, comercial y especialmente en esta ocasión de salud.
UNTAL ha sido avalada por la agencia reguladora vietnamita, que es justo decir también que hay una tradición de trabajo de la biotecnología cubana con la agencia reguladora vietnamita y con las empresas vietnamitas, porque también intercambiamos o comercializamos la vacuna recombinante contra la hepatitis B, la vacuna Kimihip. O sea que podemos decir que este proyecto es un proyecto de continuidad, lo que también de modernidad, porque todo ha ido evolucionando.
Para un decreto del gobierno vietnamita solicitado por el Centro de Investigación y Producción de...
The agreement concerns an initial 5 million doses, but Vietnam has already authorized the purchase of 10 million doses in total, Cuban media reported. On Saturday, Vietnam became the first foreign country to approve the emergency use of Abdala, which Cuba is already using along the Soberana 02, another locally developed vaccine. Venezuela has signed a contract to acquire 12 million Abdala doses, while Iran is producing Soberana 02 under agreement. Argentina and Mexico have also expressed interest in the Cuban vaccines. Last week, Cuba started the process of seeking World Health Organization approval for Abdala and Soberana 02. The vaccines, the first developed in Latin America, have yet to undergo international scientific peer review. Cuban scientists say the jabs have been shown to be more than 90% effective at preventing symptomatic COVID-19 cases. They are based on recombinant protein technology, the same used by the United States Novavax and France's Sanofi inoculations. Under American sanctions since 1962, Communist Cuba has a long tradition of making its own vaccines. Dating back to the 1980s, nearly 80% of its inoculations are produced locally.
Back here in the country, the national government is urged to establish a policy where local government units or LGUs and the private sector will be allowed to directly purchase their own vaccines against COVID-19. Take a look. Now, this recommendation is part of the Makati Business Club's discussion paper on COVID-19 released on Tuesday. The business group said the government should establish a transparent system to avoid LGUs and private sector competing with the national government in vaccine procurement. The MBC also encouraged the government to accelerate vaccine purchase, including boosters, especially for medical frontliners. The business group also advised the government to continue buying a portfolio of vaccines and not settle for cheaper vaccines. MBC Chair Edgar Chua said vaccination, probably the most important part of the war against COVID, has momentum, and they believe there are areas for improvement and acceleration.
And here in Hanoi, where the People's Committee decided to loosen COVID-19 restrictions from 6 a.m. yesterday as the number of local infections went down. The entire city is now placed under more relaxed social distancing rules in accordance with the Prime Minister's Directive number 15 instead of the Directive number 16. All 22 checkpoints at the city's gateway and 33 others at areas bordering neighboring provinces are maintained in order to control movement of people and vehicles. The city will also maintain self-administered checkpoints at the entry and exit of residential areas to control people entering communities. The municipal authorities asked the Ministry of Transport to stop domestic commercial flights to the Noi Bai International Airport as well as passenger trains to Hanoi. Public agencies are requested to allow 50% of their workforce to work from home or on shifts. Conferences are allowed with a maximum number of participants, not more than 20 people in a meeting room. The city prohibits gathering of over 10 people outside offices, schools, and hospitals. Safe distance of at least 2 meters is mandatory at public places. Especially, the document loosens restrictions for hair salons, automobile and motorbike services, bookstores, building materials. Takeaway services are allowed to resume but stop operation before 9 p.m.
Back here in Manila, authorities seized more than 50 kilograms of dried marijuana worth 6 million pesos in a buy-bust operation in Taguig City. Take a look. In a joint operation of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PIDEA NCR, and the Southern Police District Drug Enforcement Unit on September 18, the illegal drugs were recovered in Barangay New Lower Bikutan at around 4:30 in the morning. A suspect was also arrested in the operation and was charged for violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002.
And so first, we'll be right back.
Here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net25.
Ito ang tahanan. Ikaw, ako, tayo. Sama-sama, nagtutulungan, nagdadamayan, nagmamahalan. Bitbit ang mga impormasyon pang pamilya, pang sambahayan. Kasama ninyo para sa masaya at makabuluhang kakwentuhan sa umaga. Ito ang tahanan.
Ang resolusyon na ito ng IATF ay pinagtibay din ng ating Pangulo.
Paano pa natin mapapanatili ang ating pagiging malikhain?
Taong 1913, na-invento ni Harry Burley ang stainless steel.
Nako, bago tayo magpabakuna, kailangan maaliw namin kayo kasi alam namin yung iba, afraid magpabakuna.
Itong mga...
Mula sa Net25, Radyo Agila, araw-araw. Tara na all!
Ikaw, ako, tayo.
Ang trabaho naman talaga ng maritime group ng PNP is to enforce the maritime law.
Tayo lang yung stricto, pero in other parts of the country, pwede na naman ang tourism.
Definitely, we are ready to respond to a possible spike.
Sapagkat ang aming intensyon ay makatulong lang sa mga tao na wala talagang magamit na gamot.
92 voted for this resolution, which will make it stronger, calling on the Justice Department to come up with more stringent ways to be able to avert these hate crimes against Asian Americans.
Mas marami po tayong magagamit ngayon na mga tools or mga equipment.
Maraming salamat, Weng, at sa buong puwersa ng Marital sa pagkakataong ito.
Tatalakayin ang mga pangunahing balita live sa teleradyo ng Net25 at Radyo Agila DCEC 1062. Kasama si Weng de la Fuente sa...
At itong balitalakayan, we live in interesting times.
factual,
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
timely information, balanced, not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia. Tune into Mata ng Agila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Agila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to thank our help outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Tropical cyclone o bagyo. Ang bagyo ay isang uri ng lagay na panahon na nagdudulot ng malalakas at mabibilis na hangin at pag-ulan na maaaring maging sanhi ng matitinding pagbaha, daluyong ng dagat at pag-uho ng lupa. Narito ang mga dapat gawin bago dumating ang bagyo. Una, alamin ang balita ukol sa panahon at mga anunsyong pangkaligtasan. Alamin ang plano ng komunidad sa pagbibigay babala at paglikas. Suriin ang bahay at kumpunihin ang mga mahina at sirang bahagi. Ihanda ang gobag na naglalaman ng mga pangangailangan ng pamilya. Ilikas ang mga alagang hayop sa ligtas na lugar. Kapag inabisuhan ang kinauukulan, mabilis na lumikas sa itinakdang evacuation center. Narito naman ang mga dapat gawin habang may bagyo. Una, maging mahinahon. Manatili sa loob ng bahay o evacuation center at makinig sa pinakabagong balita at taya ng panahon. Patayin ang main switch ng kuryente at valve ng tubig. Gumamit ng flashlight o emergency lamp. Maging maingat sa paggamit ng kandila o gasera. Umiwas sa mga salaming bintana. Ito naman ang dapat gawin pagkatapos ng bagyo. Hintayin ang abiso ng kinauukulan na ligtas nang bumalik sa tahanan. Umiwas sa mga natumbang puno, nasirang gusali at linya ng kuryente. Huwag gumala upang hindi maabala ang mga emergency services. Siguraduhing walang basa o nakababad na outlet o kagamitan bago buksan ang linya ng kuryente. Itapon ang mga naipong tubig sa lata, paso at gulong upang hindi pamahayan ng lamok.
Of July, there was no need to hide or shy away from.
Hello po, ako si Bianca at may tuto pa rin po akong isang letter sender request ngayong linggo, September 26 sa Letters and Music from 1 to 2 p.m. Dito lamang sa Net25. See you!
10th of July.
Hello there. Imagine Dami got the virus, and she infected 2 more. And those 2 infected a lot more of people. And it goes on and on until it became an epidemic. But what if Dami stayed at home? Then those 2 wouldn't have contracted the virus. Then those people would have not been infected. This is not just your battle, it's everyone's, and you can be a huge help. Follow social distancing, or better yet, stay at home.
Authorities seized more than 50 kilograms of dried marijuana worth 76 million in a buy-bust operation in Taguig City. Take a look. That is 6 million pesos in a buy-bust operation in Taguig City. In a joint operation of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA NCR and Southern Police District Drug Enforcement Unit on September 18, the illegal drugs were recovered in Barangay New Lower Bikutan at around 4:30 in the morning. A suspect was also arrested in the operation and was charged for violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002.
Internet users in a record number of countries have faced arrest and physical attacks for their posts over the past year, a report said on Tuesday, painting a grim picture of digital freedoms in 2021. The annual Freedom on the Net report said internet shutdowns in Myanmar and Belarus had proved particular low points as online rights declined globally for the 11th year in a row. Compiled by U.S. think tank Freedom House, the survey gives countries a score out of 100 for the level of internet freedom enjoyed by citizens, including the extent to which they face restrictions on the content they can access. Other factors include whether pro-government trolls seek to manipulate online debates. This year, users have faced physical attacks and retribution for their online activities in 41 countries. The report said a record high since the tracking started 11 years ago. Myanmar was singled out for heavy criticism in the report after a military junta seized power in February and shut down the internet, blocked social media, and forced tech companies to hand over personal data.
Meanwhile, delivering vaccines to Myanmar's junta, but also to rebel groups that are the general's sworn enemies, China is playing both sides to fight the coronavirus and strengthen its hand in the messy politics of its southern neighbor. Take a look. Now, Beijing has already handed over nearly 13 million doses to the generals who ousted Aung San Suu Kyi in February and plunged Myanmar and its healthcare system into chaos. The junta has appeared powerless to halt the spread of the virus, spooking authorities on the other side of its porous 2,000-kilometer frontier with China, where officials are waging a zero-case war on COVID-19. So Beijing has quietly shipped thousands of vaccines, medical workers, and construction materials for quarantine centers, multiple rebels group told AFP. Colonel Nao Wu, spokesman for the Kachin Independence Army or KIA, said Chinese Red Cross staff came to help them sometimes to help them prevent the COVID pandemic. But they didn't come to stay there, they added. The colonel added, whose group numbering thousands controls territory in Myanmar's northern jade-rich hills. He said they just came for a while and then went back. The KIA is one of Myanmar's more than 20 ethnic rebel groups, many of whom control swathes of remote border territory who have fought each other and the military over the drugs trade, natural resources, and autonomy, but they are also vulnerable to COVID-19. And we have more news coming your way. Please stay tuned here on ASEAN in Focus because Charlene and I will be back.
Iba't ibang sakuna at kalamidad ang nararanasan ng bansa. Kapag may banta ng panganib, kailangang maging alerto at kung kailangang lumikas ay magtungo sa ligtas na lugar. Bilang paghahanda sa mga ganitong pagkakataon, mahalaga na may gobag na dadalhin ang pamilya. Narito ang dapat na nilalaman ng gobag ng isang pamilyang handa. Mahalagang dokumento sa selyadong lalagyan, flashlight, kandila, posporo at silbato, radyo na may bago at ekstrang baterya, first aid kit kasama ang panlunas sa lagnat, LBM, sugat at iba pa. Ang mga gamot na regular na iniinom ng pamilya. Magagamit para sa mga sanggol, bata, matatanda at may kapansanan, pera at mga barya. Pagkain na madaling ihanda, di na kailangang lutuin at sapat para sa 3 araw. Inuming tubig sa saradong lalagyan at sapat para sa 3 araw. Telepono, power bank at charger. Lubid, lumang dyaryo, matitibay na lalagyan. Damit, kapote, bota at mga sanitary supplies. Sleeping bag o banig at mga kumot. Suriin ang mga laman ng go bag kada 3 buwan at palitan ang mga laman nito na malapit nang masira. Ilagay ang go bag sa lugar na madali itong makita at makuha sa oras ng sakuna.
Posibleng palawigin ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang Visiting Forces Agreement. Tumaas pa ang reproduction number ng COVID-19.
Isinagawa ang turnover ng clean-up goodie bag sa San Miguel, Bulacan.
Ang maghahayag ng official statement ay ang pamilya.
Hindi lang sa aspetong pang-espiritual hinahangaan ng Iglesia ni Cristo.
Mapaunlad ang kabuhayan ng mga differently abled person.
Bukod sa pagtaguyod ng wika at kulturang Pinoy,
inaasahang bababa pa ang bilang ng mga Pinoy na walang trabaho.
Sumusunod sa mga alituntuning ipinatutupad ng gobyerno bilang pag-iingat sa COVID-19.
Isa sa naging dahilan ng pagtaas ng tubig dito noong mga nakaraang araw.
Handa ng Senado at Kamara na magpasa ng mga panukalang batas.
Umunlad ang peace and order sa bansa sa panahon ng panunungkulan ni Pangulong Duterte.
May ilang nagkaroon ang Delta variant ng COVID-19 ang nabakunahan na. Magandang gabi, Pilipinas.
Welcome back. The Asian Development Bank warned of lasting scars from the coronavirus pandemic as it cut its 2021 growth forecast for developing Asia on slow vaccination rates, surging infections, and crippling lockdowns. A shortage of doses has hampered efforts to inoculate the vast region stretching from the Cook Islands in the Pacific to Kazakhstan in Central Asia could worsen as evidence of waning vaccine protection increases demand for booster shots, the lender said Wednesday. The Philippines-based ADB forecast growth of 7.1% compared with its previous prediction in April of 7.3% and a slight contraction in 2020, but said the recovery remains fragile. The Southeast Asia, including virus-ravaged Indonesia and the Philippines, was expected to grow 3.1% this year, compared with the previous forecast of 4.4%. Vaccination rates have been uneven across the region, where less than a third of the population was fully protected against COVID-19 at the end of August, the lender said in an update of its flagship Asian Development Outlook. That compared with more than 50% coverage in the United States and nearly 60% in the European Union. The ADB warned that delayed vaccine rollouts and the emergence of new variants were among the biggest risks to the outlook and could have long-term damaging consequences.
Meanwhile, the Philippines is set to host the World Travel Tourism Council, or WTTC Global Summit, in March next year. That according to the Department of Tourism, and that was officially announced last Tuesday. The event was supposed to be held in the Philippines in October this year, but was moved to 2022 due to global travel restrictions. In a presser on Monday, Tourism Chief Bernadette Romulo Puyat said the Interagency Task Force has approved the hosting of the event, considering the stringent health and safety protocols that would be put in place before and during the summit proper. Around 800 delegates composed of leaders from the largest and most prominent international travel and tourism companies from airlines, hotels, resorts, travel agencies, and tour companies are expected to attend the event, with over 30,000 people participating virtually. The WTTC Global Summit is widely considered the most influential event for travel and tourism professionals and stakeholders, providing opportunities for industry leaders to meet with policymakers and address the most pressing issues faced by the industry. The DOT is optimistic hosting this event will not only spur the country's tourism sector, but also strengthen Manila's position as a competitive meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions or MICE destination in Asia. The Tourism Promotions Board, or TPB, the marketing arm of the DOT, is recalibrating the country's MICE roadmap to adapt to the challenges brought by the pandemic.
The House of Representatives on Monday approved on final reading a measure creating the Boracay Island Development Authority, or BIDA, to promote and accelerate the sustainable development of the island. Voting 192 affirmative votes, 7 negative votes, and no abstention, the chamber passed on third reading House Bill 9826, or the proposed BIDA Act, which is priority legislation of President Rodrigo Duterte. Under the bill, the proposed government-owned and controlled corporation, to be known as BIDA, shall manage, develop, operate, preserve, and rehabilitate the Boracay Island Development Zone, which shall include the entirety of Boracay Island and surrounding islets, including Barangay Katiklan. The bill aims to develop responsible tourism through the participation of local communities, including indigenous people, in conserving biophysical and cultural diversity.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives on Tuesday night approved on final reading a proposal imposing 12% value-added tax or VAT on digital transactions in the country to generate new funding sources for the country's COVID-19 response efforts. With 167 affirmative votes, 6 negative votes, and 1 abstention, the chamber passed on third reading House Bill 7425, seeking to amend Section 105 of the National Internal Revenue Code, or NIRC, by taxing digital service providers that operate through online platforms. The bill seeks to clarify the imposition of VAT on online advertisement services, digital services in exchange for a regular subscription fee, and supply of other electronic and online services that can be delivered through the internet. Albay Representative Joey Salceda, a principal author of the bill, said foreign corporations selling digital services such as Netflix, Spotify, and others will have to pay for and impose VAT on their services. Salceda said digital services include online licensing or software, updates and add-ons, website filters and firewalls, mobile applications, video games and online games, and webcasts and webinars. The bill would also exempt books and other printed materials that are also sold electronically or online from VAT.
And the Japan-funded North-South Commuter Railway Extension, or the NSCRX project, has begun construction, the Japanese Embassy in Manila said Tuesday. Last September 18, Ambassador Kushikawa Kazuhiko personally joined Transportation Undersecretary Timothy Batan and ADB Director General Ramesh Subramaniam during a joint site inspection at Clark International Airport Station in Pampanga, marking the start of construction for the NSCR extension project. 2 extension lines will be constructed under the NSCRX, the 51-kilometer north extension that runs from Malolos in Bulacan to Clark International Airport in Pampanga, and the 55-kilometer south extension from Solis, Manila to Calamba, Laguna. Apart from alleviating traffic congestion, the embassy said the project aims to mitigate the effects of pollution and climate change by using Japan's energy-efficient trains. Its technical aspects will also complement the ongoing NSCR Malolos 2 Tutuban project that adopts Japanese technology on flood-resilient and anti-seismic design to withstand earthquakes. NSCR-X is jointly financed by the Asian Development Bank, or ADB, and the Japanese government through the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA.
Thank you very much, Charlene, for keeping me company today here on ASEAN in Focus. Keep safe always. And before we go, I would like to greet a happy 5th anniversary to the locale of Rockingham District of Australia West. Happy anniversary po, and God bless po, and may you have many more years of anniversaries, 50, 500 years. God bless always po. We love you and we are one with you in celebrating this milestone in Rockingham District of Australia West. We love you po. Thank you, Charlene.
Thank you so much, Alma. And yes, happy anniversary to Rockingham District. And yes, also before I go, I would like to say a big hello to the Corquero family again here in Hanoi, Vietnam. I am Charlene Navaja. Thank you so much for joining ASEAN in Focus.
Thank you very much, Charlene. And I'm Alma Angeles. We'll see you back tomorrow, same place, same time, here on ASEAN in Focus. And we live in interesting times.